2024 is the year that we are going to get your content system organized and in place. 2024 is also the year that I'm not going to shut up about content systems. Over the last 10 years of my career, I have learned a ton about content creation and how to create content throughout a bunch of different industries. Because here's the thing, all the clients that I've worked with, all the places I've worked at, their industries and their niches might be completely different, and their audiences might look completely different. And their goals and their strategy might be completely different, but there is one thing that is the same and remains consistent. And that is that they needed to have a system to effectively create content, manage it, organize it, have a workflow so that content creation was easy and effective. So that's what we're going to dive into today. All of my 10 years of experience in building content systems and what you need to know for 2024. And in order to build one for yourself, we need to dive into a quick definition of how I approach content systems. So here's what this looks like. It's a strategy plus a methodology plus a workflow. It equals a content system. And I want to jump into the specifics of each of these different components, so let's go. So the first one is going to be looking at your strategy. Content strategy is defined in so many different ways. I'm sure you've seen it online. You've heard from other content strategists, marketing experts, social media people, and they all go about it a bit differently. Simply put, in my perspective, your strategy is just the why behind creating content. Why are you creating content for your small business or your brand in the first place? So I know a lot of you go onto your favorite social media platform, whether that be Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, whatever, and you are trying to fit your business into guidance from somebody else. They're saying, here's how you do a content strategy, here's how you do this, and it's not custom tailored for you, for your why, for your goals, and how you want to show up online. This expert's telling you this, another expert's telling you that, and even, hey, you might hear some advice from me, but you need to take it all with a bit of a grain of salt here and really lean into why you are doing this in the first place. Because it doesn't matter if this one expert is telling you to create 3 different TikTok videos every single day. Meanwhile, another person is saying TikTok is dead for businesses. That's not going to help you create a strategy. None of this actually helps you define why you are creating. So first, let's dive into why I create content. So if you've been following me for any length of time, or if this is the first time you're seeing my YouTube videos, this is the foundation of my entire content strategy. I like to show up on YouTube, and why I do this is because I want my audience to be able to see and consume my content for years to come and have YouTube be the foundation for everything else I publish. I show up on YouTube for longevity and for brand awareness so that people can connect with me here, potentially book me for a speaking event if they like how I'm speaking, if they like how I present information, but it also funnels people into other avenues of my business. So for me, the reasoning why is because I can effectively repurpose this YouTube video across other platforms, show up in different ways, and provide value to my audience on the platforms that they love and in the way that they want to consume content. So some people really enjoy watching these full-length YouTube videos. It's a longer form piece of content. Some people prefer looking at my Instagram carousels and just getting a quick snapshot and reading through it. Whereas some people really enjoy my bite-sized TikToks. And then some people really like reading my posts on Threads or LinkedIn. But no matter what, I'm delivering the same information, I'm delivering the same value in different ways, showing up where my audience needs me the most. And the whole reasoning of why I create content for this brand awareness is to bring more people into my audience and provide as much free value as I can. So maybe they'll make a purchase from me. And again, the reason why I create so much free content is I don't have any one-on-one services anymore. For me, I create a lot of digital products. So the next step in potentially working with me or why I'm creating content is to get them to purchase those products. But I want to deliver as much impact as I can for free throughout social media and throughout these avenues. And then I make money in other ways. That's my why. But maybe for you, you're a realtor and you really love helping military families relocate. So you show up on Facebook in those mom Facebook groups to kind of help them through the process, and eventually, hopefully, they select you as a realtor. And that's going to look way different from the jewelry designer that creates really fun bangles for more of a Gen Z audience who needs to show up on TikTok to sell more of their products. And then maybe you're a coach and you're trying to book more one-on-one clients, so maybe you go onto Instagram and do lives and create a ton of content there to spark conversations in your DMs that eventually lead to somebody booking a discovery call with you. We all have a different why. It's just figuring out what yours is, and how you're going to execute on it. So, the second part of a content system is the method in which you create. I like to loosely define this as basically the tools that you're using to create content and then how you actually create that content. Most of you probably have this locked down or you understand this part of a content system and you think it stops here. But there are two key things that I want you to keep in mind when you're developing your method, or if you already have one, let's talk about refining it. So, first, we need to talk about your tech stack. And a tech stack is simply just all the tools, softwares, apps that you're using to create content. So for me, this looks like using Canva for my graphics. I use Descript for video editing. I use Later to schedule all of it. But for you, maybe it looks like you use CapCut every single day to edit your videos. Or you're creating a ton of videos natively inside of the Instagram Reels interface. Or maybe there's some other app that you absolutely love using to create your beautiful carousels. But I want you to evaluate and list out all of the different softwares that you're using, all of the different technology, and all of the different apps. Because this is going to help you refine your process, figure out, hey, maybe I don't need this app. Maybe I need to explore another one. Like for a long time, I was editing all of these videos in Premiere Pro and it was taking a long time. So I went and I sought out a different kind of editing tool that would not only help me repurpose these YouTube videos, because again, that goes back to my why, but also really makes the editing process so much easier. Or maybe you're paying for certain apps or you subscribe to certain technology softwares, whatever that looks like for you, that you're not even using. And that'll just save you some money in your business. But either way, get a solid tech stack that's going to help you create this content online. And then the second component of this is going to be the equipment that you use to create content. Most of us have some form of a laptop, an iPad, a desktop computer, along with some kind of camera, whether that be something like I'm filming on the Sony ZV-1 or you're just using your iPhone, which is totally fine. But it can actually go beyond that, and I recommend that you start looking into other tools to kind of help aid in your content creation, make it a little bit more diverse. So some of the big things that I invested in this year is my content creation station, which I have some YouTube videos coming out about that, so stay tuned. But maybe for you, it looks like getting a flip stick for the back of your phone so that you can create content on the go. It's easy for you to make some B-roll while you're out at a coffee shop. And it's not as heavy duty as a tripod that you like to keep in your office. Or maybe it looks like investing in a microphone like the Yeti that I use here that gives you that nice crispy audio. And one caveat here, I want you to use what you have in front of you. I don't expect you to go out and buy some big camera, all this nice equipment just so you can create a reel a week. It's just a waste of your time and money and energy. But learn the tools that you do have. So if you're recording on your iPhone, maybe learn some new techniques of how you're recording your videos, how you're taking your pictures before you go and invest thousands of dollars in a DSLR camera. Use what you have at your disposal and maybe test out like those cheaper microphones or test out a nicer tripod. But this is a big part of your methodology. And then the third component of creating your content system is going to be your workflow. Creating a workflow for your content creation is arguably the hardest part and what a lot of small business owners struggle with the most. But in all honesty, this is one of my favorite things to work through. So I've talked a lot about this in the past, and if you are struggling with creating a content creation workflow for your small business, I've linked some YouTube videos below that you guys can dive deeper because we're going to go really high level here. Essentially, though, a content workflow is just a fancy way of saying how you take a piece of content from an idea all the way through to posting and then maybe eventually repurposing it and all the steps and key tasks that you have to do along the way, and then using some kind of software to manage it all and keep it organized. So I want to talk to you guys about my particular workflow. And again, I talk about this all the time on social media, but I use a couple of different tools here. I use Asana to manage all of my tasks that are related to creating content. I make sure they are scheduled in my calendar, like these YouTube video batching days. They have a due date associated with it and a checklist of things that I need to do today. So I manage that in Asana so I'm not forgetting anything, so I'm not missing due dates. But essentially today, I'm going to sit down and record, and then I'm going to maybe take a couple more pictures. Now that my hair and makeup's done, I might batch record some TikTok videos. There's a list of things that I have to accomplish today. Once these videos are done being recorded, I have to upload them and make sure my content manager has everything she needs from me in order to go through the next part of the process. And that is just to help keep my brain focused on the things that I need to accomplish and not get sidetracked by all the other things I have going on in my business. So I use Asana for task and project management, but I do not use it to house the content as I'm working on it. For that, I like to use Airtable. I use Airtable to see where this piece of content is in my workflow. Do we need captions? Does it need to be edited? Do I need to have a description? Do I need to review something? Do I need to repurpose it? And I can see all of that inside of Airtable with my YouTube videos, all the way through to the threads that I post every single day. And I can see what part of the process I'm in with that particular piece of content or seeing my content as a whole. Again, remember, taking it from idea all the way through to posting and potentially repurposing. And then this next part is where my workflow might get a little bit more intense than yours, and take what you want from this. You don't have to do every single little thing that I do. But because I produce so much content over the last year, my content manager and we have figured out that we can't do all of this manually. Because I like to take this YouTube video and break it down into 20 to 30 other pieces of content to go out across social media. So we've actually come up with a process on how we take this YouTube video, the transcript associated with it, and plug it into specific AI tools with prompts and using certain tools inside of Descript, our editing software, to really take this piece of content and repurpose it as many ways as we can. And you could do something as simple as ChatGPT or Claude to help you do this. You can take your video transcript and ask the AI tool to, hey, can you pull out 5 different Instagram ideas that I can use specifically from that video that you created, which is something that we do. Or you can lean into a tool like Cast Magic, which is something we started playing around with at the end of last year to really just streamline the repurposing process. And one caveat here, I have loved introducing these AI tools into my workflow, but we always double and triple check the output that the AI tool is giving us, refine it, tweak it, sometimes only use it to spark an idea. There's a lot of stuff that we still do manually. Like, I have tried just about every prompt and every tool to pull out tweets or thread style quotes from my YouTube videos, and it can just never get my voice right. It doesn't give me great output. So those are things that I still like to do manually as I'm watching my own YouTube videos. But just figure out what your workflow is going to look like. So building a content system may seem super impossible right now. It might seem really complex and robust, but just go back to breaking it down into these 3 components of strategy, method, and workflow, and you'll be set. It doesn't have to get more complicated than that. Now, if any portion of this has intrigued you and you want to learn the exact system that I use to create all of this content, to actually see my content system and how we produce 30 plus pieces of content every single week, you guys are going to want to sign up for the Content System Waitlist, my signature course, to know when the doors are open for enrollment again. Other than that, I will see you guys next week, and don't forget to hit subscribe.